With the all-new generation of the Cayman, Porsche has put this car more in line with its German rivals, offering more luxury and more style. But the question is, has it lost its performance and, more importantly, that amazing driving feel that made the Cayman so great in the past?
To find out, we're here at the racetrack pitting it against its most raw rival, the Audi TT RS. Despite being from the same parent company, these two cars have surprisingly little in common.
It's mid-engine versus front engine. It's rear-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive. Naturally aspiration versus turbocharger. Manual versus not quite manual.
It's beauty versus beast. It's precision versus traction. It's a German brawl of semi-epic proportions.
Getting right into the specs, the Cayman S uses a 3.4-liter flat six that produces 325 horsepower and 272 pound-feet of torque. While a 6-speed manual is available, our Cayman has the 7-speed PDK dual-clutch automatic. Weighing just over 2,900 pounds with the PDK, this Cayman is roughly 400 pounds lighter than the TTRS. Porsche claims the Cayman S can hit a top speed of 174 miles an hour, same as the Audi, and can sprint from 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds with the Sport Chrono package. Pricing for the Cayman S starts at $63,800, while our test vehicle came in at $84,170 after destination charges.
The Audi TTRS comes equipped with a 2.5-liter turbocharged direct injection engine that makes 360 horsepower and 343 pound-feet of torque. The TTRS only comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox, and thanks to its famed Quattro all-wheel drive system, will go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.1 seconds. The TTRS's price starts at $57,200, and optioned out the way we have ours, it's around 65 grand.
The new Cayman features gorgeous styling first seen on the Boxster last year, and now that the roof has been added, I think it looks even better. In fact, I would even say this car is prettier than a 911. And even if you don't agree with me on that one thing's for sure, it's prettier than that TTRS. Although silver isn't exactly the most exciting color for a car, somehow this Porsche pulls it off. Then again, the Cayman could be painted in hot pink and it would still look fabulous. Of course, this wouldn't be a Porsche without red brake calipers and cross-drilled rotors. And added to this car are great-looking 20-inch Carrera S wheels that look too big for this coupe.
I can't disagree with you, Mike. The Cayman is the prettier of the two cars, although maybe it's a little feminine looking compared to the TT, especially in RS trim, it just looks angry. For starters, the RS has much more aggressive front and rear bumpers and restyled side valances. It's also got unique 19-inch 5-spoke wheels. Our car also has the two-tone silver accent front lip, side view mirrors, and rear wing stands. There isn't a lot to differentiate the RS from a regular TT, although it does have this beautiful flat-bottomed multifunction sports steering wheel, and it also has TTRS emblems embroidered on the seats. Other than that, it's pretty standard fare in here. It's got the usual high-quality materials that you expect from Audi, as well as the nice aluminum trimmed bezels. This generation of TT has been around for a while, so I've got to say, as nice as the interior is, it is starting to look a little bit dated compared to the Cayman.
Inside, our Cayman S is finished in the yachting blue leather interior that hasn't found many fans at the Auto Guide office. Anyone who's been in a Porsche recently will instantly recognize this interior, as it looks identical to those found in the Boxster, 911, or Cayenne. This means there's the usual hard buttons everywhere, confusing infotainment unit, and terrific steering wheel. I'm usually not a fan of a Bose audio system, but in this car it's actually terrific. It's loud, crisp, and clear. But of course, this Porsche has the idiotic swing-out cup holders. Porsche's PDK transmission is amazing. There are paddle shifters back here, and they are fun to play with, but what's the point? The computer is so smart that it can outthink the human brain, and the Cayman S always seems to be in the right gear at all times. The steering, braking, and handling of the Cayman S is everything you've heard of. It is phenomenal. The communication you get from the road through everything on this car is just perfect. The engine is definitely down on power compared to the TTRS, but as long as you rev it up high in the RPM range, it comes alive and does provide a decent amount of grunt. And thanks to that PDK transmission, it's always in the power band. And then there's that sound. Nothing in the world sounds like a Porsche flat six. I know I mentioned it once already, but I need to mention the brakes again. We did several laps in this car and there was no fade, whereas the TTRS would fade after a while. This car never leaves you in doubt that it may not stop when you're entering a corner.
Okay, we're out here on the track in our angry little friend, the Audi TT RS, and man, this car is a lot of fun to drive. It's just making so much turbocharged power. It's like a punch in the face. It really is kind of the defining characteristic of this car. It's engine first, grip second, and well, nothing else really matters. Actually, one thing does matter, and that's handling balance. And in that regard, the Cayman S really does beat the hell out of the Audi TT. It's just understeering a lot on turn-in, and although you can get it to rotate a little bit with the throttle, and the all-wheel drive system does a great job of pulling you out of the corners, it's just asking a lot of the front tires, and after a couple of laps you feel them starting to fade. Although I always prefer a manual gearbox, I gotta say that the one here in the Audi is not the most precise gearbox I've ever tried. It's a little bit squishy going into third gear. Doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, but you do start to get a feel for it after a couple of laps. Really, my only other complaint about the TTRS is the brakes. They're actually really good at first, but after about 3 laps, we did start to experience quite a bit of brake fade, which is a little bit surprising in a sports car of this caliber. I think with a pad upgrade though, you could definitely get it to take the heat.
Both of these cars are fantastic sports machines, and either one is not a bad choice. But when it all comes down to it, one will be faster. So Dave, which one won out of all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive, turbo versus non-turbo?
Well, it wasn't actually that close in the end. I'm a little surprised that the Cayman S was as good as it was. It was spectacular with a 1:21.2. That's seriously quick. The TTRS was 2 seconds behind at a 1:23.4, which is actually a second slower than we did in it last year. I think these conditions just really weren't too good for the turbo.
So I guess beauty really does beat beast, or maybe it's more PDK beats manual.
True, and that extra 20 grand does buy you a supremely well-balanced mid-engine sports car.